He leaves out at 2 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes it's 7 or 12:30 or something.
We got enough for votes, we got votes.
Yeah, we like it.
Okay.
And I'm sorry that I did not know he was a committee.
All right, we'll go ahead. It's I got 7:01, so we can start off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first thing that we have, good afternoon, everybody. First thing that we have on the agenda is the approval of September, October, November meeting minutes. And I do apologize. Last week I didn't vote on that, or I didn't ask for a motion, and that was my fault. So if everybody can take a look at that, if I can get a motion.
to approve the November.
Thank you. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Did you go on that Tuesday?
Maybe.
You don't, just close your mirror, you don't lose your mind.
Okay. Good, well, we got another.
Yeah.
Okay, old business, Cheryl, it says here, flood grant. Okay.
Yes. I received an email today from Gina, the contact person there. They are still working. She wanted to let me know that our contract stuff has not fallen through the cracks. They've just been really busy trying to close out some things. One thing, number one, I need approval from the council for me to go ahead and order the gravel on the 2 roads that need to be gravel. One is the street Melissa lives on, and then the other one is the one that goes down the backside of the park. It's been approved by FEMA, but I just want y'all to be aware that I need to call the Lance company to come, and they come with Spectra, so therefore all we have to do is pay for the gravel. We don't have to pay for somebody to spread.
We know how much that is.
It's $450 a load, and we had anticipated that we would have to have 3 to 4 loads, and that's what FEMA had approved.
Cover the 2 locations.
Yes.
So roughly $1,500 max.
But you will get reimbursed for it.
Okay.
Well, I just need to give you permission to do that. Okay. Everybody in agreement with that? Okay. All right. Next, she also asked me to go ahead and prepare what they call management costs. They will pay for the hours that I spent doing the grant. And so when I first started this, Alex, who was our FEMA rep, told me to make sure that I kept detailed reports on the hours that I worked on it, because they will pay $15.37 an hour for that. And I said, well, I get paid. He said, no, this is above and beyond what you got with the city, and they will get reimbursed for it. So I've got to get. I just found out today that I was working at Hollywood, so I sat down and went through, because I do have a detailed book, and so it comes up. I've lost my sheet. Part of it was at $15.37 an hour. It comes out to $814.67.
And this was for you assisting in building the grant for the firm?
Yes, the grants, getting estimates, doing all the paperwork. In other words, I have a folder in there, James, to us, so.
And so you're asking for a motion to approve to pay you those funds?
Uh-huh.
And the funds are coming from where?
They'll come out of general funds. Well, actually, we have enough in the FEMA account. I can pay it out of the FEMA account. Because there's $1,800 in there for the previous. But, I also found out today, or don't know, that there is a program called it's flood mitigation. And on top of what they reimburse us for our expenses, we will get extra money because we went the extra step to take precautions to prevent some things from being damaged again, like moving the bathrooms, putting in cement sidewalks rather than going back with the wooden one. They'll give us extra money for that. And also, I think they're gonna approve that building that we were moving to put the equipment in, so that we don't have to worry about it being over there and getting flooded and damaged. So that's coming in extra. So they've not given me the total amount on that one yet, but, so I just need approval on this one and any other work I do, I'm not gonna ask for some reimbursement. But this was long 12-hour days with this done.
Okay, so, let's not do it through FEMA, let's just go ahead, since it's a one-time thing, let's just go to the general fund, and then just mark it for the next month that you have that charge.
Okay.
67.
Alright.
So
I
that,
have a FEMA split down account.
okay, now let's just do it. I think it's
Okay.
So we do have a motion to approve Cheryl, a payment of $814.67 for her assistance in the program. Okay, do that second. Okay, all in favor?
Thank you.
And just make it said general fund.
Oh,
Okay. Anything else?
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that's cool.
So for new business, the first thing is split rail fence. Guess Randy was gonna bring this up. I don't have an idea what this is.
No, that should have been deleted off of this, I'm sorry. Because the copy I have is not on there. Is it on your, is it on your phone?
That's all I got.
Oh, you got the wrong one. That's last month.
Yeah, that's what you, that's what you handed. That's all I had.
Oh, yeah? Oh, here, you can solve that phone, I'm sorry.
Oh, it was just coincidental that it was split. Okay.
Yeah. Pass that down, Jen. I'm sorry.
It's okay. That's what I was gonna say, it looked like a clerical at the bottom that said next meeting, December 2nd.
Yeah.
Alright, new business, there's only one thing, set a date for the workshop, to discuss maintenance contract, town clerk contract, 22 annual budget, and years for new
No, even for the new bathroom, you have to go ahead and approve this, that needs to be done.
already kind of moved on.
Yeah.
Okay. So we already paid for the heaters?
No,
Oh, we're, okay, we're agreeing to pay for them to get them installed.
right.
Okay, do you have a motion, to pay for this heaters and install? Do you have a second? Okay, all in favor? Okay, so the next one is the maintenance contract. So last month, we had, the town, Cheryl had told us that the maintenance contract had to be published 30 days prior to the end of the year so we could get closed bids. So I think everybody on the town, only people on the town council, the mayor and Cheryl were the ones that saw the updates that I did for the contract. Now, I wasn't aware that we have the capability of getting those contracts. I just went online, paid for a subscription to do this draft contract because the last contract was just in a Word document. I think we should do it official, so I did it in a contract. I asked everybody for comments. The comments I got were from Tony. I have not incorporated those, but let's put it up for discussion. Where do we want it? What do we want to do at this point? Because we're limited in time and we have to get it publicized so we can get those bids in. So was everybody good with my comments and Tony's comments? Because Tony had some good comments about adding the bathrooms, which I felt good. So as a part of that, we can say that we increase.
Okay, there's some other things that was in there that was to change. We no longer lock the bathrooms over in the park
Okay.
because that our police officers and early FedEx drivers and travelers that use this route on a regular basis, they actually plan on stopping at those happenings. So once we put that security light in the parking lot, the delinquency went way down. So
Lock the gates, right?
no, we do not. But some people got cell because they don't get cell service. So we don't do that. And also, y'all can talk about all this work being done between 9 and 5. The person that takes this contract, this is going to be a part-time job for them. Okay? So it's going to be hard for them to schedule to be down here between 9 and 5. Because a lot of them, that work is done after 5 o'clock.
Yeah, that was just me filling it in because
Right.
that's the next thing to do. Next plan that it gave. The option that it gave me was to put in at a time. That's totally debatable. I just put in a normal day of 9 to 5. It can be fluctuated. I can easily adjust that. And I think that would be an agreement that we have with the winning bid to negotiate when those hours would be, and then I could update it in that contract.
Right.
And then so I can go back and just say it's various. It'll be dependent on the award, and it's negotiable on those days.
And another thing is, and I'm not trying to be critical, it's just I've dealt with this for 20-something years, but the idea of,
About equipment.
no, not necessarily the equipment, it was, y'all had said in there 20 to 30 hours a week. Okay. Sometimes you're not gonna need them 20 to 30 hours. But other weeks you're gonna need more hours.
Was that in yours? I didn't have that.
Oh, I saw that somewhere, 20 to
There
30
might have
hours a
been
week.
some boilerplate thing in there or something.
Oh, okay. But I was just gonna say because, like in the winter time, and again, so that people understand why we have been paying the same price every month, is that it's almost like being on a salary. Some weeks you may do 50 hours, and then in the wintertime, of course, you're not gonna have that much. So it evens out, that way you can easily put it into your budget and make it work. Because before we did that, they would come down here and sometimes we would have a $5,000 bill one month. Then the next month it might be $2,000. So you never knew what it was going to be. And so by making them included in everything, then you have a set budget item. And it makes it much easier to keep up with.
Yeah, I mean, that's a way. I just think that we need to determine. You've got the seasonal months, which is spring to the end of summer, and then you have the winter months. And the increase of work will be in that seasonal time frame from spring to the end of summer. So my concern is paying it equally each month. What are the actual duties in the month of January versus the month of July and August? I think it's increased
Well,
significantly.
But what it worked out to, and we had a company come in and help us try to figure this out. And he said, what happens is that in the summer months, you're going to wind up paying $6,000 a month. But then in the wintertime, you may only pay $1,000. So if you even it out, then also the person that's working with you knows he can also use his budget and know how much money is coming in. So it works both ways in being able to keep your budget and their budget on an even keel, and everybody knows how much it's going to be.
Okay, well, I can make those changes, and once we receive the winning bid, we can decide at that point.
The way it ought to be figured out is just an annual amount. Right.
Right.
I guess what's the stopping? Obviously, you'll be, you're not gonna get, if there's January, February, March, they don't have to do much of anything, and they get the whole amount, and they decide they're just gonna skip down on kind of dress for this.
Oh, no, because there is work. They still have to maintain the park. I mean, there's limbs, leaves, they have to maintain the bathrooms. Right, but the hours, your money will even out rather than having to come up with 5, 6
What I'm
hours.
saying is, you come in and they've been working very little for 3 months, then all of a sudden they haven't worked a whole lot more, what's to say that they're just not gonna jump ship? Then you pay them all that money, and then you gotta start somebody in the middle of something.
We've never had an issue with that.
Okay, so
The only issue that we've had is people charging us way too much.
So I think the current Word document is good enough now to publicize to get the bids. Once we have the winning bid, then I'd like to have an official with a contract with the changes that we agree upon. And give that time to that individual or that company to decide if that's what it is. Okay, so do I have a motion to go ahead and publicize the original document that we used previous last year for the maintenance contract? Yeah, for the purpose of publicizing that in the local paper.
Putting in there that
You're definitely have to put something in there because they're gonna look at that and they're gonna look at this new project and they're gonna be like, this is not what I did.
Yeah, there's no new additions. I didn't add anything in the contract that was additional to the contract, to the document. The only thing that stood outstanding that I did not add was the maintenance on the new bathrooms, which we can add that.
Deduction. That the person should have insurance. Because I know Kenny, he does, grass cutting for his plants and we have to have all the insurance. And I can add that in there, that they must have all the insurance. And,
like that, we put that as well.
oh yeah.
So,
And so everybody knows Jerry would have liability insurance, so that was never really an issue. But, also, you need to, I'm gonna put in bold letters that their bid needs to be on everything. Because last time we did, we had a guy come out here and he gave us a certain amount for mowing, and then he wanted to do the maintenance per hour. And we're like, no. Our bid says that your bid covers everything per month. So I wanna make that clear to them so that we don't have that issue again.
okay, so if you could just update that document, send it all to us. The one change is to upkeep the new bathrooms. The new policy on locking all the doors and stuff, the locks that we said. And then liability insurance. Anything else on this?
I'm gonna take out the lock in the back.
Okay. Yeah. What'd you say?
And I'm gonna make sure, it did say that they have to check those bathrooms daily.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it also says,
Is that
what
needs
along
to
with it was to unlock it, yeah. Check it daily for supplies and things like that. And what'd you say, workman's comp?
Yeah, and if they get hurt, working out here, the city's looking into liability.
They're,
I don't know, Jerry told me he had workers' comp, but I get told that all the time. And stuff like that.
oh, he does, because I was looking into that a while ago. I know he, the last time we talked to our insurance carrier, and this was another reason why we went with contract rather than employee, was that if it's contract, they're responsible. Their own health insurance will have to cover if they're contract. Now, that's just what our liability insurance is.
Many times. Good work.
Can we verify that with Jeff? Or a legal representative?
Yeah, we'll make sure, I guess whatever,
Well, I'll just have to call them and say from the insurance.
Okay.
they should be able to tell you, but if there's a
Yeah.
question of reviewing whatever your policy says.
And you can do, they have something in the policy that covers it anyway. Not necessarily workers' comp, or something.
So today is the second. You can make those changes by tomorrow and then you can get publicized the next day. Monday?
Next week.
Monday, okay. Is that enough time from like next week till the first of the year? It's 3 weeks.
Maybe 3 weeks.
The next meeting is on the 6th of January, which is
Right. Alright, so if I put it in next week, that would give you 1, 2, that's 3 weeks before the next meeting.
good.
I think so. I think it has to live at least 2 weeks, but I think 3 weeks would be better.
Okay. Yeah, and so,
Alright, and I'll set a time on, I'll just get them to call and make an appointment with something that, the bid information.
and so the mayor will review those blind bids the next meeting?
No, those bids will be open in the meeting.
Yeah.
Nobody looks at those until they are open in front of all of them.
Yeah, but I'm saying the next meeting, that's what we're planning on doing is the
Sure.
bids. Okay.
I can put it on,
Contract.
it can be put on the agenda.
So January 6th. Any other discussions about that? And again, this is just to send out so we can publicize the maintenance services, get the bids in, and then from there, set up that contract. Again, if it doesn't meet the criteria of the winning bid, then we have the additional bids to see if one will be sufficient enough for anything else, any more discussion?
You don't have to come up with a thing, so publicizing it with the proposed changes you think.
Yeah, I sure can. So, do I have a motion for all the changes that we had stated? I can go over them real quickly. Cheryl's gonna update that, she's gonna remove all the requirements for locking all the buildings, the doors. Ensuring that, the winning bid has liability insurance. Adding the clean services for the new bathrooms. Anything else? Have a motion for that? And publicizing it in our current document from last year so we can publicize it in the local paper.
For 3 weeks.
Motion that we put the new maintenance contract, or the old maintenance contract in the paper for bids
Okay.
with the changes you just described.
Do you have a second? All in favor? All right. The next one is town clerk contract, 2022. Cheryl, I'm not tracking.
It's just the town clerk contract, and then there's a comma, and it's the 2022 annual budget.
Oh,
Those are the
two
things that
things.
y'all need
Okay.
to have a
I
work
got it.
session
So two
on.
left on that. Forgive me on that. Okay, so first one is the town clerk contract.
Mhm.
What's going on with that?
Well, you're gonna
Same
have to
thing.
find a new clerk.
Effective when?
I'm leaving December 31st.
December 31st. Okay. All right. So I
So
have
it needs to be advertised as well.
advertised as well. Okay. Do we have a description for that already?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What do we do in an interim solution? Because if you're leaving the 31st, when do we need to have someone start in a transition with you? Because it's December 2nd, so I think that's a little unrealistic to
Yeah.
hire somebody.
If y'all want me to, I will stay on for the month of January to transition into the next person.
Well, I have a recommendation for the town council. So I have been speaking with Buffy Holcomb, who used to be our town clerk 2 town clerks ago. She came in interim. She's agreed to come back as an interim basis until we solidify a new town clerk. And I agreed as the mayor pro temp that she could continue on with the same salaries that we're paying now in an interim basis until we decide. So if you guys would like to do that, I think that's an easy transition with Cheryl because she's done it before and she knows the procedures. I think that would benefit the town. So if we want to do that, we can make a motion for an interim basis for Buffy to come in and transition with Cheryl, and then we can publicize it. And then if Cheryl decides that her effective date is December 31st, then we have that interim until we decide or find a new town clerk.
So
Okay.
Buffy will come in now.
I love Buffy to death, but here's your problem, she works a full-time job.
Yep.
And so she's not gonna be available to come in here and meet with your contractors and, meet with the other folks. And that was the problem why I came on, was because Buffy didn't have time to do the job.
Yeah, I've already talked to Buffy and she'll be able to do it on an interim basis. We've already discussed it, and so if you guys accept that, if you guys would like to make a motion, we can do that and move with her as an interim basis at this time.
But we still need to vote on getting the ad out there, just like we did the maintenance
Great, awesome,
as well.
okay.
And we got,
I don't have the ad, is there an ad in the past? Okay. So we can publicize the ad as soon as possible, we can make a motion for that. And then make a motion on the transition with Cheryl.
well, I make a motion, we publicize the ad as soon as possible. for,
Okay.
town
And
clerk.
when can we, before you make that motion, when can we publicize it?
I can publicize it next week with the other
Next
one.
week, okay. All right,
So I make an ad, I make a motion that we publicize the ad next week for new town clerk.
Okay.
Next year.
and that's just, I apologize, that's just an interview process, that's not a sealed bid or anything like that. That's people applying for the role, and who decides who the town clerk is gonna be.
The council.
Okay, all right.
You'll do it in a, executive session. You don't discuss any personnel issues.
Outside the town council meeting, so there'll have to be an additional meeting.
Yeah, and you could do it before the next meeting, you know.
Or you can do it in the meeting if you
For the meeting.
adjourn to executive session.
Yeah, you can
do it at
adjourn.
the next meeting.
Normally
Or
what we
enter,
do,
make a motion
yeah.
to enter executive session. So you
Yeah,
could have
normally
that
what
on
we
the
do is we
agenda.
go into executive session after the pledge, and then you have to have a motion to go into executive session, and then a motion to come out of executive session to go back into your regular council meeting.
Okay.
If you're gonna do that, do you want me to stay on for the month of January?
No,
Okay.
if we have a transition with Buffy, if you guys make a motion to have Buffy come in and transition, she can start doing that immediately. And I
Okay.
think 3 weeks is adequate time by the 31st. So do I have a motion to bring in Ms. Holcomb in an interim basis?
Oh, yeah, you did.
We didn't finish the
Second.
ad.
I apologize. Do I have a motion to publish an ad on the Town of Talking Rock Town Clerk opening effective 1st of January?
I make a motion, we put an ad for the town clerk, town talking rock.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second? All in favor? Okay, do I have a motion to add, request Buffy Holcomb to cover down an interim solution transition with Cheryl Sams from now to the time of her last day, which is December 31st, 2021?
And she did say she could come in on the weekdays to
Yep.
work with me.
Yep.
Then I make a motion that we have Buffy come in with Cheryl to transition through,
Now, did she
The end
say
of the month.
before or after 5 o'clock?
I didn't get into those details with her, but I will immediately call her after this meeting. I can call her tomorrow and we can come up with an agreement on how she's gonna meet with you on the transition. I don't think it's gonna be a difficult process.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, after January, you're gonna have to have
Mhm.
somebody down here, and that was an issue with her before, so please clarify if you can.
Yeah, I'll definitely clarify. So did you make a motion?
I make a motion.
Do I have a second? Okay, all in favor? All right,
Who made the second? I did.
okay, annual budget, okay, so, annual budget usually, since I've been on the town council, we've usually reviewed and approved the budget, usually around October, November timeframe. to approve it for December for the first of the year. Am I correct on that? I feel like we're behind.
No, y'all, last year it wasn't in October. I think it was in November.
Okay, yeah, it was closer to the end of the year. Okay, so, so we have to decide how we're gonna do this. This is what I had recommended. After looking at expenses, I don't see any issue with keeping those in an interim. Like, you got two choices. One, we can approve it as is for 2021 to 2022, or we can do like a 90-day extension so we can look at some of these things if there's any adjustments. Does that make sense? Extension, yes. So temporarily, I would say, hey, for the first 90 days, January, February, March, we go with 2022 exactly as we did 2021 with an ultimate plan of doing a workshop and looking at the budget. Because the reason why I say that is because we're talking, this is December now, we don't have an official budget. So I don't know what else to do, but I've got to have something starting
Right,
January.
but here's your issue, is that because the maintenance went done, you have no idea what it's gonna cost you. You have no idea what the next clerk's gonna charge you to do that job.
Yeah.
So those two items are gonna be very tough. All right, number three, another thing that y'all need to do, and I don't know how it got taken out of it, but part of your requirements for getting the low option sales tax, the fire department counts in that. So there needs to be a line item budget amount that goes to your fire department.
It's not in there.
No,
And this budget is for the personnel and maintenance or
no. What you do is that they are an independent, they are incorporated within themselves.
Okay.
The trucks belong to the county.
Right.
But the county gives them so much money per year to operate on. It's never enough. These guys put money out of their own pocket in there. But anyway, we have in the past given them $2,000 to $3,000 per year for them to be able to buy equipment to go on the truck, safety equipment. They bought it for desk or breathing apparatus or whatever. They just put it in their budget, and it's something that needs to be added back into the budget.
That's what I was doing.
Yeah, because we have an agreement with them to provide fire service for our area. Now, they go outside the city limits, but they do also inside the city limits. And
Why hasn't it been identified?
it used to be, I don't know how, I don't know. And I had not even thought about it, and Glenn mentioned it to me the other day. This isn't cheap, but that is one of our criteria to qualify for the local option sales tax.
The criteria is what, that we have to spend money on the fire department?
There's certain services that you have to provide to your towns in order to qualify to receive the local option sales tax. When we did this, the fire department is one of our services that we provide to them, but we're not giving them any money. So if you don't give them money, you can't claim it.
So you gotta have some kind of money going.
Exactly. That's why we give the library the $250.
It wasn't in, you're saying this wasn't in last year, we need to get it back in.
Yeah, it needs to go back in.
So Cheryl, it's been there before.
Yes.
What was that cost?
We would usually give them $2,000 to $3,000.
And how do you do that? Is it
We just give them a
spread
check,
one time?
one-time check, is what we did, and they put it in their budget.
Is that to a specific individual?
No, it's to the talking about going to the fire department.
What I mean is, if I'm writing a check for somebody today, who am I writing it
You're writing it to the fire department. They have their own checking account, and they have people on it to sign for checks.
Well, that needs to be in the budget when you said you only get paid.
We used to pay it the first of the years, and just got it out of the way.
Not necessarily that, we can still do, like come back
to? Yeah, I'm
Vote
not.
on the budget
I'm not-
in March
Yeah, I'm not gonna
and
even.
add all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna make a motion for that. I
Because
needed the
like you
information.
said, we're not gonna know the maintenance contract amount, we're not gonna know the Yeah.
But I just wanted to make y'all aware that that's something that needs to be
And we
identified
make
in
a
that
note,
budget.
we'll have to do some of it.
Yeah, that's why I feel pretty confident that we can extend, let's say the first 90 days, the first quarter, January, February, March. It's not the first quarter, but January, February, March of 2022, as is of this budget. That's gonna give us enough time to do a working group to really figure out where we're gonna do this. Okay. Anything else to discuss about that? And we will have to capture that because that is going to be an issue. One of the things that we didn't talk about was the compensation for the town clerk. Will that have to be voted on, or is the expectation to be the same compensation as we publish it? So it's at 800.
Well, you know, I don't know that I don't think we published an amount before. I think we just put in like 15 to 20 hours per,
Okay.
12 hours a week is what we had.
Okay. Well, what was it before? 800. Okay. So, all right. So this is going back over on the budget for 2022. I'm asking for someone to make a motion for an interim basis for the months of January, February, March to continue with the 2022 budget as of 2022.
Motion to use the 2021 budget within 3 months.
And can I make another? Yeah, can I make another thing to make the motion on? Let me finish that out. I'm sorry. Do I have a second? Okay, all in favor? So the last discussion was, oh, that's what I said. Do I have to make a motion for a working group for the?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And so, all right. So we need to do that. So
And it
for the-
also has to be published.
Okay, so we need to have a working group. Let me ask this, Cheryl, do I have to have a working group prior to the next town council or in the month? We've already,
That's up to
yeah,
y'all.
we've already approved to have an interim budget for the next 3 months. So I recommend that we look at a date in January to do that working group. And the working group's gonna cover a couple things, but it's definitely gonna cover the budget. And I'm good with any time. I know everybody's busy, so the next town council's the 6th. Whatever you guys recommend.
One thing that maybe more toward the end, just to make sure we got all the maintenance stuff ironed out before we.
Okay, so for the next town council, we should have enough bids to be able to choose from that. At that time, hopefully we have solidified for the town clerk. And this will give the mayor additional time to come up with the compensation for the fire department. And then we can add that as well.
Right.
Okay. So I think what you're saying is because our next town council's on the 6th, we have enough time at that time to bring that as an agenda for sometime in the following weeks to have a working group.
Yeah, give us a little cushion.
Yep. Okay. All right, so I'll just table that. Any other discussion about that? Okay. All right, so maintenance contract, town clerk, 22 annual budget, heaters, okay. Any other discussions? Any discussions from anybody in the audience? Anybody? Okay. All right, do I have a
think
motion?
we probably need to address, what's going on with our mayor and why nobody's heard from him and stuff.
Yeah,
It seems kind of strange.
I think each of us, I don't know what's going on. I'll reach out.
Cheryl doesn't know. I would say that nobody knows.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just because of his work schedule is why I'm not going to touch base with him. When he comes home, he showers, eats a sandwich, and he's in bed.
I mean, he didn't even let you know he wasn't coming.
No, I don't know that he's even home.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, and he's not allowed to use that phone on his truck, so. They
Well-
monitor that very closely, so.
I'll email him tomorrow, and then, maybe just acknowledge this is the second meeting, that he hasn't been here, and I have not heard if he wasn't gonna be here or not. He did not notify me, I don't know if he
Well, I just
notified
feel like,
anybody
you
else.
know, somebody needs to do something.
Okay, any other discussions? All right, do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor?
All in favor, thank you.
Who seconded it? I did.